This tool is actually dangerous. I couldn't stop generating design every day. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever looked at those beautiful animation and wondered how are these even made? Well, I recently tested a new tool called Neuform.ai that's just released, and honestly it's pretty impressive. Instead of starting from a blank page, I can generate component, remix design from the community, and drag and drop element to instantly apply style. Everything updates fast, and it even built a full design system for you in the background. So if you're a beginner, it helps you get started much faster. But if you're more advanced, you still have a lot of control to refine and improve your design. In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything step by step. I will show you how to create complex design, how to remix existing one, and how to edit everything to match your style. Alright, let's get started. Before jumping into the demo, let me quickly explain what Neuform.ai actually is and why it's interesting. As you can see, I've been using this tool in most of my recent design to improve my workflow. So basically, Neuform is an AI design tool that helps you generate UI component and full design system much faster than traditional tool. Instead of starting from a blank page like in Figma, you can generate component directly with AI. And what's powerful is that it's not just creating random design, it actually understands structure. Alright, so let's go to the Neuform.ai. Right now, we are on the home page by default. On the left sidebar, you have different categories to help you organize your design. So you have all, which basically show everything. Then you have favorite. This is where you can save design from your own page, not from the community. Personally, I use this a lot, especially when I find a design that I want to improve later or reuse in another project like Aura. It's just a quick way to come back to something important. You also have hidden page when you want to clean up your workspace. If you don't like a design or you just want to remove it from your view, you can hide it. And don't worry, it's not deleted. You can always come back later and unhide it anytime. For example, I delete this one. I can bring it back. Just click on unhide and go back to all. It's supposed to come back like this one because this one is look broken. So I'm gonna hide again. Now below that, you have the project section. This is really important when you start having a lot of design. For example, in my case, I have more than 200 of design. So if you don't organize them, it becomes really hard to find anything. You can simply drag and drop your page into different projects to keep everything clean. And if you want to create a new project, just click on the plus icon, create it, and submit it. Now at the bottom, you have different canvas mode. For example, you can switch to Instagram slide, tablet, mobile. And what's nice is that everything is automatically responsive. So you don't need to manually adjust everything or write specific prompt for each screen size. Now let me show you something really powerful. This is the tree view. So basically, this gives you a global view of all your design. Instead of scrolling vertically, you can see everything laid out visually in a space. It's kind of similar to prototyping in Figma. When you have multiple screens connected with a lot of nodes, same idea here. You can see how everything is connected, how your design relates to each other, and how your workflow evolves. This is super useful when you want to understand your structure, navigate quickly between design, or organize your workflow in a more visual way. And also, you can zoom out, move around, and connect idea much faster than in a normal list view. And finally, you have the notification icon. This is where you will get update when someone interact with your design. For example, if someone favorite your work or if your design get featured in the community. So it's a nice way to see how your design are performing. All right, now let's go to the community page. Here you will find a lot of design created by other users, especially the one that are featured. This is a really good place if you're looking for inspiration or if you want to remake existing design. If you see something you like, you can simply click on Remix with prompt or quick remake to start reading from it. And of course, if you like a design, don't forget to hit the like button, give them some love before remixing it, right? If your design get featured, it will appear here as well. And honestly, it's always fun to come back and see how many like you get, right? You also have different sections like trending, which show the most popular design, and upcoming, which is basically where all the late public design appear. So even if a design is not featured, you can still see it here. And if you're not ready to share your work yet, you can always keep it private for now. All right, now let's get into the fun part. You're gonna love it. Let's start with remixing from the community. Don't worry, it's actually really simple. If you're a beginner and you don't know where to start, I highly recommend starting here. Just look around, get some inspiration, and build from something that already exists. And if you already have an idea in mind, you can go straight to the prompt field here also. Let's say I like this design by Van. It looked really clean and well designed. I'm gonna click on Remake with prompt and I will keep it simple for now. Something like make it different, change the text, change the color scheme, add animation, and I'm also going to add a skill. This I preset skill that help guide the design from the start. Before prompting, let me show you something really important. Here, you have a bunch of skill that you can use. So instead of trying to find the perfect prompt every time, you can just start with this. Most of the time, I actually use a combination of skill and it already make the design look really good from the start. For example, I almost always use border gradient. This add a subtle gradient border around your car and layout. It gives that smooth premium look and instantly make everything feel more polished. I also like to keep mask reveal for my title. So when the page load, the text animate from bottom to top. It just add a really nice motion detail and make the design feel more alive. And now, just to make the design a bit different from Van design, what I usually do, I'm going to add skeuomorphic UI. This create more depth with layered shadow and gradient. So it gives a slightly more realistic tactile feel compared to flat design. All right, now that we have our base, let's run the prompt and see what we get. Once you run the prompt, you can go back to your homepage to see it generating. All your prompt will automatically go to your personal page, not the community. So while it's generating, you don't have to wait. You can actually start prompting or remixing multiple designs at the same time. Usually maximum 6 at the same time. It makes your workflow much faster because you're not just waiting for one result. All right, let's preview our design. So let's scroll down. And yeah, I actually like the style. Skeuomorphic look, it's really nice. And the green gradient works well. But there's a small issue. I don't see any title or headline for this section. So that probably means I didn't specify it clearly in my prompt. No problem. Let's just reprompt it and fix that. Now I'm going to click on Remix prompt at the top. And what's nice is that it automatically clip your last prompt by default. So you don't have to write everything from scratch. I'm just going to update it a bit. Something like add a title and headline to the section and remove the scroll effect. Because right now, I want to see the design immediately, like a thumbnail, not something that reveal on scroll. The hero section is really important. It's the first impression. If it's not clear right away, people won't be interested. Now, instead of remixing, I'm going to click on iterate. This is important because iterate will keep the current design and just improve it, while remix will regenerate something completely new. Alright, this is exactly what I want to see. Not a blank thumbnail. Something clear right away. Cool. Now let's jump to the right sidebar. You can see we have 4 sections here. Let's start with style. So the style section is basically your design system. You will find everything here like color, typography, spacing, shadow, etc. All the core visual rules that define your design. Then we have design. This is where you can manually edit things. For example, typography, icon, image. So let's change the font real quick just for fun and maybe adjust the color theme as well. And as you can see, everything updates intensely. So you're not rebuilding anything, you're just modifying the system. And don't forget to save first. Now let's talk about the prompt section because this is really important. This is where you can see the logic behind what was generated. At the top, you have your original prompt. So everything you wrote earlier is saved here. And below that, you also have something called the style prompt. This is basically how the AI interpret your design. It translates your idea into a structured description, like the layout, the style, direction, the component, and the overall feel. You can even tweak it here and generate again if you want more control. And below that, you have the design system output. This is super powerful. It breaks everything down into visual, structure, typography, color. So you're not just getting a design, you're getting the full system behind it. And at the bottom, you have the skill section. This is where you can actually create your own skill so you can reuse them later in your next prompt. For example, you can just write something like turn this layout into a skill. Then click on create skill. And that's it. Your skill is saved. Now you have the full description here so you can reuse it anytime and keep a consistent style across your design. Just make sure to save everything before moving on. And at the top, you also have V1 and V2. This lets you switch between different versions of your design. So if you want to go back to a preview version, you can easily switch back to V1. So you're not just designing, you're building reusable system over time. All the skill you create will be saved in your private skill, not in the public one. And honestly, this helps a lot with organization. Instead of searching forever through public skill, you already have your own set ready to use. Next, let's try mixing multiple designs together. So basically, we can combine 2 designs into one just by dragging and dropping one design into another. For example, let's say I would like this background style. I'm going to drag it into this design because this one feels like it's missing a bit of decoration. Then I will write a simple prompt like only add the ray background. And here you also have the option to choose between style or HTML. Style is more for things like color, typography, and the overall visual feel. HTML is more about bringing in this actual structure or code from the from that design. So in this case, since I only want the rear background and not everything else, I will keep the prompt very specific. That way, it's only apply the part I want. And while this is generating, why not do another one? I'm going to take this nice purple background and add it to another design because I think they fit really well together with this one. So I do the same thing again with a simple prompt. Alright, now look at the result. The combination already add more depth and it looks a lot more beautiful. So that's really the goal of mixing. If you like one layout but prefer the background from another design, or maybe you like the structure from one and the visual style from another, you can just drag, drop, and combine them to complete the design. Alright, now for the final step, let's try something a bit different. We're going to create a design from scratch but using different approach. First, we will start with a simple prompt only, no images, just text. Then we will try the same idea, but this time with skill added. And finally, we will do it again, but with image as a reference. So the goal here is to compare the result and see how much impact each method has on the final design, because depending on how you prompt, you can get very different output even with the same idea. So let's start with the simplest version first. Just a basic prompt, no skill, no image. So I'm going to add the prompt. Create a dark futuristic hero section with a glowing green particle sphere in the center. Add floating light particle around it. Subtle depth and glow effect. Alright, so for the first demo, I'm going to remove all the current skill and start fresh. Then I will run the first version with just a simple prompt. While this is generating, let's not wait, okay? So I'm going to create the second version, but this time with skill. So I'll add a border gradient because I really like the look it gives. Then mask reveal for the title animation and also web GL laser to add a bit more visual depth. And now for the third version, I will use the same prompt, but this time I will add an image reference, then generate. Alright, now let's compare the result. So the first version with just a simple prompt is already nice. Now the second one with skill, it looked better. We have more style and more personality. It's not bad. And the third version with the image, you can see is even more refined, more detailed, more accurate to the style we want. So this confirms something really important. The more context you give to the AI, especially with images, the better and more precise the result would be. So I prefer this version. It's more nice. So if you want the best result, don't just rely on prompt. Use skill and image reference together. Alright, now let's push this a bit further. Instead of keeping it simple, I'm going to use a more advanced prompt with more detail. I'm going to add multiple section and also think about interaction. For example, on scroll, I want the glass crystal sphere to explode and the laser effect to follow the scroll, just to make the whole experience more dynamic and interesting. I also want to add a bit of parallax effect because I like creating something that feels more immersive and unique. So in this case, I cannot just generate a single section. I need to add more sections to really see how everything connect together. So now I'm not just designing a layout. I'm designing an experience. Alright, now let me show you how I create this kind of flow effect. Most of the time, I find inspiration from different places like Spline, X, Framer, or Dribble. Let's just go to Dribble. I'm going to search for some 3D element. Let's see. Alright, this one looks really nice. I like how it animated. So what I usually do first is take a couple of screenshots from the video. Around 2 screenshots is enough. So I will capture one at the beginning and another one during the animation. There you go. Go back to the Neuform page. Alright, I'm going to attach my 2 screenshots. And I'm going to add my prompt right here. So add a hero with this kind of flower shape on page load. Make it open like a flower, one piece at a time. Add a title and headline. On hover, make the shape react with a smooth skew or distortion effect following the cursor. And generate it. Nice. Not bad. Maybe it's too dark, so we can adjust the background. So let me organize my file first. I'm going to add on my favorite section. It's more easier for me to mix the design together. So I want this color. I want this kind of flower. Let me bring to the first design. So add this background style and create this kind of flower animation. Okay, let's see it. All right, this is exactly what I want. I want the same flower effect but with this color style. Cool. Next, we will do the water system control UI that a few people request me this design. So I will show you how I made it quickly. Like usual, I start with a screenshot from Dribble for inspiration. Then for my prompt, recreate this design, change the text and color, add floating element, animate the water with realistic movement, and animate the ruler from top to bottom while the number update dynamically. And let's see the result. And here's the result. This looks so smooth. The way the UI floats with the water makes it feel almost real. So calm and smooth. Alright, we're almost done. For the final step, I want to recreate one of my favorite type of design. It's this kind of flowering string-like structure that slowly open. I don't really know the exact name for it, but it looks almost like a blooming flower made of light. I found this inspiration randomly on X. So I'm going to use the same process again. Just add a screenshot as a reference. So I will write something like, when the page loads, create a flowering string-like structure that slowly open like a blooming flower, then gently float. When hovering, each thin string react and move following the cursor. So let's take a look. Wow, this is exactly what I want. And when I hover over it, you can see the string reacting to the cursor, almost like a distortion effect. It feels really organic and alive. Amazing, right? So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something useful. And now it's your turn to start creating your own design using this technique. These are still a lot more features to explore. So in the next video, I will show you how to take this design and integrate them into a real workflow and even turn them into a full template. So see you in the next one.